my loves, it is Peyton here. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, hi, I'm Peyton. I am 18 years old, almost 19. It is really sad. It is the 14th of February and my birthday is on the 28th and I cannot believe I'm almost 19. Anyway, and I make videos about everything and anything, and today on my channel I thought that we would talk about splitting and borderline personality disorder for my episode 3 of Living with BPD series. Okay, how do I remember that this is episode 3? But wait, is this episode 3? Okay, now I don't know. Anyway guys, let's get into it. If you see laundry beside me, do not worry, we are just doing laundry right now. That's why it might be in the background a little bit, but I tried my best not to get it on the camera. And before we start this video, I just wanted to say that I am not a trained professional in any way. I do want to become a psychologist one day, and I do have a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder. And so I am talking about my own experience and my study and my love for psychology that I have done so far. So first let's talk about the meaning of splitting. Splitting is basically defined as black and white thinking. Black and white thinking is basically where we can categorize something as all good or all bad. And this something doesn't just mean a person as all good and all bad. And I love how that just fell. I will move that off my lap in a minute. We can also characterize ourselves, objects, things like that as all good and all bad. So basically when we see something as all good, which is basically all white, we see them as perfect and we basically idolize them and that kind of thing. They're like the one we look up to, they inspire us, and they're a really good person. And when we see somebody as all bad, which is the black part of it, we see them as out to get us, evil, harmful, that kind of thing, toxic. But yeah, so that's basically what splitting kind of means. And it can be very, very affecting to relationships, and it makes relationships very intense and hard. Hence why they say that people with BPD, one of the many signs is intense relationship patterns. So yeah, that's basically a summary of what splitting means. Splitting is often used as a defense mechanism. We often use it to protect ourselves from getting hurt or from getting abandoned. And this doesn't usually protect us from that. It actually causes us to push the ones we love the most away without trying to push them away. And it's very hard because of that fear of abandonment. Due to the fact that splitting can cause me to push away the ones that I love and the ones that I don't mean to push away, it really causes me to sometimes want to self-harm, which is why splitting is such a negative thing, and it doesn't always protect you. Splitting can protect you when somebody is actually a bad person, but it doesn't protect you when it's your brain tricking you into thinking that this person's a bad person, but they're really a good person. They're just maybe not showing up to the date that you guys had planned because they're just running late at the moment. Another fact about splitting is that splitting is often triggered. At least for me, it is usually triggered by either my fear of abandonment or my trauma. Or it can also be triggered like when me and my loved ones fight, or when there's just a lot of yelling. The way that you can spot that somebody, or maybe even yourself, may be splitting is when you use words like good, bad, all, everyone, that kind of thing. Some common splitting behaviors include passing off judgment on other people that you barely know and that like you basically like just met kind of thing, or impulsively cutting people out of your life. That is another splitting type behavior. And other things that can be seen as splitting type behavior is having an anger outburst if you don't get what you want, or giving silent treatment if you don't get what you want, or if you basically expect others to pick sides. Those are just some examples of splitting type behaviors. There's obviously way more. Some skills you can use to help you deal with a splitting episode in the moment includes calming your breathing. That's one of the many main ones I suggest to do. Calm your breathing and focus on your breathing. That's one of the things that really helps with splitting. Another thing you can do is actually something that my boyfriend has started to help me with my anxiety and panic attacks, and I found this very helpful for those type things, is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, using your senses. And one of the things I recommend doing no matter what is reach out for help. It's okay to ask for help, and there's nothing to be ashamed of for getting help. And lastly, I wanted to talk about ways you can help a loved one going through a splitting episode, and the way you can help yourself, as you need to be able to help yourself before you can help other people. So you need to make sure that you are taking care of you. And so yeah. This first thing is so important, and it is to try not to take it personally. I look at my boyfriend all the time and say that whenever I split, try not to take it personally, because it's not your fault. It is the way my brain works. So please try not to blame yourself for this happening, and just try not to take it personally. Number 2, which is also very important, which is reassure them that you are not leaving. Due to the fact that splitting is a defense mechanism, and it can be used when we feel like we're being abandoned, we need to know that you are not leaving us. You need to reassure us that you are not leaving us and that you still love us and that kind of thing. Just make sure you let them know that just because you are setting a boundary or a couple of boundaries doesn't mean that you don't love them any less. And since we're on the topic of boundaries, make sure you set boundaries and use yes and statements. These statements are so important. Examples include, yes, I am setting a boundary, and yes, I still love you, like I talked about a little bit in the second point. And another example can be, yes, I'm going to be still friends with, like, Julie, for example. And yes, I completely accept your choice of ending that friendship. Make sure we feel validated in these boundaries and statements, because invalidation is something that can really trigger BPD. Anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give this video a giant thumbs up, and please do not use this video to diagnose yourself or others, as a diagnosis takes a long time and a lot of work, and you really need a doctor to fully diagnose BPD, just like any mental illness. So I encourage you to go speak to a professional if you think you have BPD. You are so loved and you matter, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye guys!